Do you see this tall mountain of garbage behind me? How much of a difference would it actually make if I tossed in just a small plastic wrapper into it? Often, we underestimate the power and impact of individual actions. Hello and welcome. I am Sadhika Tiwari and you're watching Eco India. Sometimes even the smallest things like changing our food habits or nurturing a patch of land or rethinking our relationship with the animals around us can spark a transformation that reaches way beyond ourselves. Today, we take a look at such small and seemingly ordinary choices that can have a big impact and create a sustainable and healthier future. In most Indian streets, you will find dogs. These dogs live on these streets in rather poor conditions. In Delhi recently, they were the center of many headlines and at the heart of many protests. Safety, rabies cases, and growing population are some of the issues, but this entire debate is a lot more complex. Citizens and authorities both need to step up and act on this issue, which is as much about waste management and public health as it is about animal welfare.
In India's capital, Delhi, the human population coexists with dogs, monkeys, and other animals. A fragile urban ecosystem that is close to crisis. Why? The main issue is the masses of stray dogs, numbering an estimated 1 million. As they merely try to survive, they pose a danger to humans. In July 2025, a 6-year-old girl died of rabies after being bitten by a dog in Delhi. The case sparked public outrage and a media storm and unleashed renewed debate on the dangers of street dogs.
The facts are actually different from what is being portrayed in the media. Now, their numbers they say that there are 20,000 deaths due to rabies. The parliamentary figures say that the deaths due to rabies are about 56 in the entire country. Now, of course, every death is a problem, right? So we're not trivializing this.
Humans and dogs did once peacefully coexist here, a balance that Asher Yasudos wants to restore. He advises authorities on animal welfare and runs a shelter on Delhi's outskirts where dogs roam freely. For him, animals aren't the problem, part of a long shared history, one that has been positive for millennia. Delhi's canine population has grown sharply in recent decades. Once, people respected and fed them, valuing how they kept rats out of temples and pests out of neighborhoods. But Delhi mushroomed. Its human population grew tenfold over the last 50 years. As new, anonymous neighborhoods sprang up, the bond with dogs shifted. Once friends, they came to be seen as threatening packs and potential disease spreaders.
Generally, a dog bites because during mating season, when males are fighting over females. So they get really aggressive at that point in time, and generally when a human passes by, humans can get bitten as well. Once a female dog has puppies, again she tends to get aggressive because she's protecting her puppies.
Another factor is human-caused climate change, which has been turning up the summer temperatures in Delhi. The resulting heat stress affects dogs too, weakening their immune system and making them more aggressive. Then there is the urban ecosystem. When stray dogs are hungry, they might resort to eating birds or hedgehogs. And Delhi's poor garbage management doesn't help either. The city generates over 11,000 tons of unsegregated solid waste every day. Dump yards are like open buffets for stray animals.
Even if it is very toxic and full of plastics and inappropriate food, it will still be a source of food, and you will continue to have dogs milling around waste hotspot, around garbage vulnerable points, and as a result, no plan around dogs will ever work if you cannot manage your waste.
Waste dumps act as feeding grounds for the strays, but are also a hotbed for rodents and other pests as well as monkeys, all scavenging for scraps. Moving dogs elsewhere as a quick fix only heightens the risk of rabies exposure when other carriers then move in.
if you relocate dogs, like a lot of people say, remove these dogs. If you remove them, then these wild animals or dogs from outside that are going to come will not find these dogs to protect us. They will instead come and bite us. So the instances of rabies would actually go up.
Rabies is one of the biggest fears linked to stray dogs. It's a zoonotic disease, is spreading from animals to humans. Rabies pose a real lethal threat when people do not get treatment after being bitten.
While rabies is almost nearly always fatal, it's 100% preventable. So as soon as a dog bites, I think there are some protocols that have to be followed. The first things is you need to wash the wound in running water for 15 minutes with soap, right? And then you need to obviously go consult a doctor, get immediate post-bite vaccines, and do whatever the doctor suggests. So don't take it lightly.
How can the urban ecosystem regain its old balance? The WHO backs a so-called animal birth control program as the only humane and effective way using sterilization and vaccination. But in Delhi, it's poorly implemented, limited by too few trained staff, poor hygiene, and weak oversight.
The result has been a careless, badly administered program which has not achieved full efficiency, and it has caused enormous cruelty to dogs who are taken, operated under less than perfect conditions, suffer broken stitches, intestines that fall out, early releases.
In the north of the city, one animal birth control center is trying a different approach. Local NGO neighborhood Woof sterilizes up to 300 dogs a month and maintains a registry to monitor the animals' vaccination and health.
This is what we need. People counting their local dogs. People who live in the area should be included in a census. And now it's so easy, as I said, with technology. So that's the role we are trying to play, bring in caregivers to the program and also improve the program at the state municipal level.
Neighborhood Woof joined forces with a local cafe to launch Feeding Forward, a program that distributes surplus food to street dogs. The idea is to reduce both waste and animal aggression, boosting public safety and public sympathy for the dogs. Regular feeding builds trust towards humans, which in turn makes sterilization and vaccination easier. In September 2025, the authorities introduced new rules: designated feeding spots, mandatory registration, and a monitoring body for sterilization programs. In the long term, it's about coexistence, with that precious urban ecosystem depending on humans taking care of both the dogs and their own responsibilities.
In Rajasthan's desert, where the water is scarce and the sun is unforgiving, survival itself is a challenge. Yet, in one village, a professor has turned this drought-hit desert into a landscape of hope, with the idea of a family coming together to support a forest. Children here are nurturing fruit saplings and entire communities are supporting them. Let's take a look.
Vikas is a quick and tidy worker. After school, the 11th grader tends to tiny seedlings. There are a number of children here from the village spending their after-school hours at this tree nursery.
It is really important because we have learned that plants should be taken care of like kids.
What sets this tree nursery apart is that it belongs to everyone in the village and is taken care of by everyone. This village is in Rajasthan, is called 12TK. Located in the Thar desert, temperatures in the summer can reach 50 degrees. For a tree nursery, it's an extremely challenging climate. We focus on planting seeds suited to our climate, including khejdi or jar. In addition, fruit-bearing plants like kinu, lemon, and pomegranate are commonly grown here. They can also bloom in desert areas with limited water. The concept employed at the nursery is called familial forestry and was conceived by Shyam Sundar Jani, a sociology professor from the city of Bikaner. The thinking is that young trees will have a far better chances of survival if they are nurtured and cared for post-planting as you would with a regular member of the family.
Familial forestry emphasizes that our work starts after plantations. Not our work ends with the plantation. So when we plant saplings, that means that we are ready to take, or we are ready to own a responsibility to nurture that particular tree like a green member of family. So it's a kind of an active and empathetic environmental activism.
This is not the first time we have met Shyam Sundar Jani. We featured him in a previous report 4 years ago, also about familial forestry. Back then, he took us along to the university where the idea germinated. In 2003, young Professor Jani planted a number of native trees on the campus grounds together with students, which they then cared for. He gave saplings to families to provide both fruit and shade for their gardens. In 2021, he also took us to a school where the children performed a celebratory dance as their classmate planted the seedlings brought along by the professor. And they all learned from him about the importance of taking care of the budding trees. 4 years on, Shyam Sundar Jani has returned to see how the tiny trees have been faring.
The condition of trees are quite well. Actually, when we started planting over here in 21, then I did not expect that they will grow in such a healthy stage, and they are quite healthy, and it shows that the teachers and the students are maintaining them properly.
In 2021, Shyam Sundar Jani was given the Land for Life Award by the UN Convention to Combat Desertification. The honor put him and his familial forestry concept in the international spotlight. And that has in turn helped him to attract international funding from organizations in the US, Canada, and Britain. Over at the tree nursery in 12 TK, there are plenty of local visitors. Villagers from neighboring Motsar Khuni have come to pick up new seedlings, which they don't have to pay for, thanks to the donations. But they do promise to give the trees some tender, loving care. And in addition to native tree seedlings, the nursery also grows shrubs. The professor wants to show us why and takes us to Dabla Talab, 200 kilometers south of 12 TK. For 2 decades, an area covering over 200 hectares of land was subject to rampant, illegal gypsum mining. 3 years ago, Jani began restoring the area using the familial forestry principle.
Familial forestry doesn't mean merely planting of trees. Familial forestry means that to respond the requirement or need of the local ecosystems. As this ecosystem is very specific with the grasses and the shrubs.
And back in 12 TK as well, people have gathered together today to talk about their experiences and about familial forestry. Over the last 4 years, the Little Tree Nursery has nurtured and given away over 200,000 saplings, with the village itself turning greener. One of the villagers has written a song in praise of the program. That familial forestry is about far more than just planting trees.
Cities everywhere are expanding, and in the process they're consuming green spaces. But citizens in many of these cities are relentlessly trying to find spaces where they can grow their own food. In our next story, we look at this idea through 2 very different cities, one in India and the other in Germany, that are trying to achieve the same thing. But can cities at large sustain green spaces, and will these efforts find support?
The German city of Lübeck spruced itself up for the summer. Here in the heart of its centuries-old centre, a temporary garden is blooming, with an array of flowers, herbs and vegetables accessible to all. A special project has given little-used areas a new edible lease of life. We have tarragon, thyme, chives, parsley and lovage. It really is a green living room. You get people passing through or stopping to sit down and look what there is here. And it's all down to local residents. Today, there's special reason to celebrate. They've created an urban oasis where there were once plans to build a car dealership. It's just one of over 50 schemes constituting the Edible City project. It was set up 10 years ago by Ingrid Bauer. Supported by local companies, associations and hobby gardeners, Edible City, or Essbare Stadt, took shape. Edible City is a platform for people who want to make a positive change in their city and develop vacant spaces. The goal is to have a city that's friendly to people, insects and wildlife. 7,500 kilometres away in the Indian megacity of Chennai, green spaces have become a rare and precious commodity. The Chennai Urban Farming Initiative aims to change that, hoping to turn the sprawling metropolis into a city that can feed its residents.
Our vision for this is to help spread this across the city, to have every rooftop in Chennai covered by a vegetable green garden. And we believe that the way of doing this is to give residents in localities like the one we are in more encouragement and motivation to help grow these gardens.
Just like in Chennai, the aims of the Edible City project in Lübeck go beyond food. In this kitchen garden on the edge of town, children are learning about sustainable farming or solidarity farming, how to grow healthy vegetables and in the process protect nature and the climate. Children are the generation of tomorrow. When I can no longer do this, ideally 100 kids, or maybe 200 or 500 kids will continue, or even all children. And then we'd have the CO2 in the ground and not in the atmosphere. The young students also care for the farm's chickens. A local non-profit sells the eggs and homegrown vegetables to supporters of the project. One option is to order a weekly box of farm products. So far, children from 10 Lübeck schools are involved. The hope is that one day all the city's schools will participate in Edible City projects. Lübeck is a modestly sized and relatively wealthy city where food security is not really an issue. Unlike in Chennai, where several 100,000 live in poverty, the Chennai Urban Farming Initiative aims to help them. Here too, the younger generation are helping to green the city. Since vacant land is scarce, the initiative has gardens growing on school rooftops. There are nearly 170 so far, helping low-income families. For those with limited space, starter kits come in the form of small vegetable gardens in a sack. Climate change is felt far more keenly here in Chennai than in Germany. The initiative aims to make the city more resilient.
Chennai faces two very important challenges. One is of heat and heat island effect. Chennai has been fluctuating between floods on one hand and drought on the other. So we don't really manage our water situation very well. And one of the main reasons for this is the amount of concrete space that has developed in Chennai over the years.
Which is why greening rooftops and terraces is a cornerstone of the Urban Garden Initiative. Some time ago, Padma Ravi started her own rooftop garden using a starter kit.
The heat that is coming into my house, is a lot. So I thought it can reduce by having plants. And I have floral plants. I have greens also, which I use for my kitchen. The whole thing is green and it's beautiful, That happiness, right? That's a lot.
The green rooftop gardens provide a measurable improvement in the quality of life, while at the same time increasing Chennai's resilience to climate change.
Heat studies have shown that in the rooms directly below, if you put up a rooftop vegetable garden, temperatures can be lower by as much as 7 degrees. Also, it forms a very important aspect of holding the rain as it falls and then releasing it slowly into the ground. So more number of terraces in Chennai that we can convert to green spaces, it will address two of the most important climate change challenges that Chennai faces.
Back in Lübeck, one of the co-founders of the Edible City project shows visitors his orchard that preserves old regional fruit trees.
This is a
Lübeck marzipan apple tree, which was the last of its kind. It's a super delicious little apple. All the kids love it. Let's pick one. We've been replanting it, and you'll now find the tree practically all over Germany again. The fruit enthusiast has already planted several hundred traditional fruit trees in and around Lübeck. An achievement that wouldn't have been possible without the many supporters of Edible City. I'm loving it, also as a father of 7 children and 12 grandchildren. We're doing this for the next generation. A lot of people are saying we finally need to take action after destroying so much in nature. We can feel climate change coming. So we're finding everywhere people are interested. The network makes a difference. From Edible City Lübeck to urban gardening on the roofs of Chennai, the commitment of ordinary individuals is making urban areas more climate resilient and more livable.
In cities, when people can't easily access fresh vegetables, they often resort to processed foods. But that is fueling an obesity epidemic. In our next story, we meet a woman who is working on putting fresh leafy greens onto plates. Like many Indians, she struggled with her weight for years, but that pushed her on a journey to turn her personal struggle into a community solution.
Yet another satisfied client. Sindhu, my morning blood sugar is only 96 today. I had about 115 and 120 before, but now it has dropped to less than 100. I'm very happy. Sindhu Vijay is a certified nutritionist and the founder of a salad delivery service in Chennai, the capital of Tamil Nadu. For much of her life, Sindhu struggled with unhealthy eating habits, which eventually caused her to lose a kidney due to obesity. Obesity affected my health from early childhood. Constant issues like stomach pain were common. Eventually, I chose to stop suffering and underwent kidney removal. After that, I was told to be extremely careful with my weight. According to the World Health Organization, in 2022, 1 in 8 people worldwide were obese. In 2021, 40% of the population in Tamil Nadu were obese, the second highest rate in India. Studies have shown that a diet rich in fresh vegetables paired with regular physical exercise can help people manage weight. That's how Sindhu turned her life around. Daily yoga alongside her husband Vijay, a more active lifestyle, and a diet of fresh, protein-packed salads instead of fast food. Basically, I'm from Burma. My family members and my ancestors are from Burma. So generally we consume raw vegetables in high quantities, and so salad has been there in our food style all along. Traditional South Indian meals are naturally rich in protein, fiber, and micronutrients. But today's fast-paced urban life, vegetables often get sidelined, replaced by processed foods and oversized portions of rice. What was once a balanced plate is now often out of proportion. After starting my health journey, I lost 25 kilos in just 1 year. Struggling with health issues, I searched everywhere for answers. Once I found the solution, I wanted to share it. And turning it into a business brings me real satisfaction. Sindhu's solution is a fresh salad delivery service called Salada. She and her husband have created 10 jobs and serve over 3,000 customers in Chennai. Sindhu's new healthy lifestyle impressed her doctors so much that he encouraged her to share her nutrition insights. Now a certified nutritionist, she helps her clients prevent illness and lead healthier lives. Happy morning, Chitra. Kindly update your morning fasting blood sugar level. By choosing a new path, Sindhu found healing and now leads thousands of others towards it.
That's all for today's episode. Environmental challenges can often feel overwhelming, but change begins from our neighborhoods, from our choices. Today's stories were a reminder that sustainability is, of course, about policies and technology, but it is as much about the actions that we take. Are you seeing any such efforts around you? Do let us know. And do not forget to follow us on our Instagram at DW_environment. Thank you so much for joining us. I will see you next week with more such stories. Until then, take care. Goodbye. Namaskar.